Wink, Chapter 9. Giddy up. The next day, I'm not prepared to deal with the bus in a cowboy hat, so Linda gives me a ride to school. She tries to make me feel better during the drive. Granted, it's in her Linda way. So, maybe this could be a whole new look for you, you know? She waves her venti green tea at my hat. Of course, we stopped at Starbucks, Buc-ee's, whatever. Own it! Be Ross, the hat guy, inside and out. Tip the brim at girls like a movie rancher. She mimes it. Like that. I know she's only trying to help, and she's saying the same stuff Abby did, but I feel sick. It's raining, but I ask Linda to drop me off before we get to the parking lot. I cut across the soggy lawn. What's a couple of wet feet compared to impending social death? Abby's waiting at the bike rack by the front door, wiping her off her viola case. She studies me and refuses to feel sorry for me. It's just a hat, Ross. Seriously, you look like your dog died. I get a few funny looks and a handful of pointed fingers as I walk down the hall to my locker. One kid gives me a thumbs up and a loud "Nice!" I hear, "Get along, little doggy," as I pass the biology room. But the biggest reaction comes in Ms. Bayer's class. I've been dreading this one. What the... Jimmy. Not cool, he sputters. How come you get to wear a hat, butt crack? It's not my choice. I point at the front where I really did end up writing doctor's orders like Abby suggested. My dad wasn't happy about the ruined hat, but decided to let it slide. Jimmy scrunches up his face. Whatever. I wore one last year. Mr. Phillips took it. I had hat hair for 2 days. I chose not to mention that he has a pretty serious case of hat hair right now. My eye is killing me, so I grab one of my little eye vial drops as quick as I can and put in a couple drops, wiping away the gooey liquid before it can dry there and gets all crusty. I've had a few days where I get home and it looks like I rubbed a glazed donut on my eye. I realize Jimmy's still watching me. What's up with you and those stupid drops? I tuck the vial back in my jeans. I don't have tears in my eyes. In that eye. They took out the gland that makes tears during my surgeries, so I have to use them. He stares, chomping away. He looks around and quickly pulls out his spit jar out of his desk, lets fly, and then tucks it away. Yeah? Or what? If I go very long, it starts to sting really bad. Burns. So, drops. And it stings super bad when it's open. Jimmy stares at me long enough, I wonder if he's stalled out. Is that why you hold it closed? I nod. He swallows. That sucks. Yeah, I guess it kind of does. Then he turns away and I hear him mutter something under his breath. Was it cowboy? Great. I mean, it's a better nickname than butt crack, I guess. I glance over, but he just sits there staring forward with a big, stupid, mean look on his face. During fourth period, I feel a sudden pounding need to go to the bathroom. Mr. Bolio gives me a hall pass, and I make it with only minutes to spare. On my way back to class, I'm about to turn down another empty hallway when Isaac comes around the corner, right in front of me. I think we're both caught off guard because we stop. Hey, Isaac. Why am I suddenly nervous? He's one of my two best friends in the world. He looks a little trapped. There are no other students to dash off or hide behind. Hey, Ross. I'm not sure what to say, so I say, bathroom? He laughs, but it seems like an uncomfortable laugh. Yep. Me too. I pat the hall pass against my palm. Hey, how are you doing on Annihilation Moon? Isaac puts one of his stick-like arms up and rubs the back of his neck. Oh, good. I'm almost done. Have you done the whole crater challenge? This is literally our first conversation in forever, and I feel myself light up. Yeah, I just finished the crater. We should get together and play sometime. Maybe... He cuts me off by holding clenched fists together in front of him, doing a little dance/shuffle. Ross, buddy, I'm about to pee myself, but we'll get together soon, I swear. I nod. Yeah, okay. And he's past me. I don't think he meant that about getting together soon. I know what a brush-off feels like. I turn around and I turn around in time to see him duck into the boys' room, and suddenly there's a big pit in my stomach, like somebody took a melon baller and scooped it out. I'm slowly walking past the AV room when John Maker sees me and leans out. He points at my head and sings in a snarly voice, "Hey, hey, save a horse, ride a cowboy." I think it's from a country song. I just give him a smile and a thumbs up and get back to class. By the end of the day, most everybody's seen the hat and gotten their "Yee-haw, saddle up, and Halloween's tomorrow" comments out. Nobody knocks it off my head or laughs in my face the way I dreaded. In fact, most kids just kind of look for a moment, then accept it. Cancer kids get hats, and that's that, I guess. When my dad picks me up to take me to my treatment, my spirits are kind of up, unbelievably. For a brief moment, I feel like there's hope in the world. Frank stops in his tracks when he sees me in the waiting room. His face suddenly looks dead serious, like something's wrong. "I'm afraid this town ain't big enough for the two of us, Sheriff." I groan. "Hilarious. Did you bring this amazing music you keep going on about?" I duck past him and hit the button for the automatic doors. He catches up. "You joke, but your real education begins today, my young Padawan. Prepare to have your mind expanded and potentially blown." Once I'm on the table and the mask is in place, Frank holds up a CD in front of me. It has scrawly writing on it. "Ross's Intro to Music, that doesn't suck. Made it last night. Think you can handle it?" Callie steps in with my mouthpiece. "Oh no, this doesn't have your band on it, does it?" Frank's eyelids go half-mast. "Only the first couple of songs are Ripe Sponge. Then it's just a hodgepodge. A mishmash, if you will." Ripe Sponge? I have time to ask before the mouthpiece goes in. "What's that?" "Ripe Sponge! That's my band." He goes over and rattles the CD into the tray, hits play, and ducks around the corner. Callie looks at me while she fits the mouthpiece onto the table. If I'm being honest, his band isn't terrible, but I'd never tell him that. Then she reminds me not to look away from the X, pats my arm, and walks out of the room. Frank doesn't hold back on the volume today. First, there's a heavy drum, a fast, low thumping that goes on longer than it seems like it should. But then some other drums, louder and a little messy. Next is a bass line, lower than the drums. I feel the music in my chest, and it goes on like this for a bit. I can't tap my feet. I have to stay as still as possible, but I'm tapping them in my head. It's the kind of beat that makes you want to move around. Finally, a guitar comes in, ripping a hole in the middle of the song. It's cool and spooky and smoky and thrilling all at the same time. I'm hooked. The singer comes in. Is it Frank? I can't understand all the words, but who cares? It gets even better. I think the song is about a girl and maybe flying, and there's something about evil nachos, unless I'm hearing it wrong. But the lyrics don't even matter that much. I just love this song. Instantly. Completely. I'm really not sure why the music is hitting me like this on this particular day. Like it's sinking onto me rather than bouncing off. But it is. I mean, I've heard music before. Good music. Why today? Maybe my defenses are down because of radiation nerves. Maybe it's just a new kind of music that I'm not used to. Like it's my kind of music, and it's been waiting for me out there. Maybe the proton beam is accidentally zapping my brain, and I'm having some kind of seconds to death moment of clarity. Or maybe I just need it now. I'm not sure, but it's lighting me up in a way I haven't experienced before. The next few songs are heavier than anything I've heard on KZAQ, and 3 times harder than anything in my dad's collection, but I love them, and I want more. I can't keep the smile off my face, mouthpiece and all. As I walk out afterward, I realize I haven't thought about my stupid hat for at least 15 minutes. Chapter 10, Bad Halloween. The second day with the hat, Halloween, goes less well. This is what we call an understatement. I meet Abby by the bike rack. She's wearing her black jack-o'-lantern shirt with a headband with demon horns. And before we even reach our lockers, I can tell something is off in the halls. Nobody makes a hat comment, but several people turn around with, "Uh-oh, here he comes," faces. Ricky Stevenson, an 8th grader with crazy tall hair, lets out a startled laugh when he sees me, then stifles it behind his hand and ducks into the art room like he committed a crime. While I'm grabbing a folder from my locker, I catch one girl, Bethany something, whispering in her friend's ear. She has her hand covering her mouth, and they're both looking at me. The international signal for, "We're talking about you." I shut my locker and turn to Abby. She's messing with the pull strings of her Vampire Weekend tour hoodie. "What's up?" She looks back at me. "Chicken butt." Hilarious. Why is everyone looking at me? She pushes off the wall and heads down the crowded hall. "I'm sure it's the hat, ding dong." I follow her, watching other students as we go. She squeezes between a couple of big football players to her locker, starts working the combination. She swings the door open between us. I'm not buying it. My spidey senses are tingling. I see another person stepping sideways to get a look at me from behind someone's backpack. I lean in to look at Abby in the eyes. "You swear you don't know anything?" "Ross, stop it. You're a minor celebrity now. Hat kid. Try to enjoy it." She gives me a goofy smile and pats my shoulder awkwardly. "Don't go mental on me, okay? I gotta go, or I'll be late." She gives me a punch on the arm. "Seriously, you'll be fine." Then she's gone, swallowed up in the morning chaos. My palms are starting to sweat. This isn't good. By lunch, I'm in full panic mode. You'd think I'm walking around naked the way people are looking at me. I've had that nightmare, and this is worse. I asked a couple of kids in my class about it, but they all played dumb, and not very convincingly. My brain is spinning like a top when I meet Abby at the loading dock. She's unpacking her lunch and looks up. "Hey, Wink." Normally, I don't mind the eye-related jokes, but today I'm in no mood. I throw my lunch down. What is going on? People are looking at me like I have 6 heads. She sets her sandwich down. "Ross, I have no idea. I doubt it's anything, but I'll ask around if it'll make you feel better." I sit down on the top step and tip my head back. Groan. "Take some deep breaths. You're spinning out, buddy." After a couple of minutes, I look back down and stare at my crumpled lunch bag. "If it makes you feel better, I heard Sean Meekins barfed in gym class." "Seriously?" She nods. "Yep. Halfway up the big rope, it splattered and got a bunch of people, including Hannigan." I can't help picturing Hannigan scrambling not to get yarf on his precious sneakers. He loves those sneakers. Okay, that is kind of awesome, I guess. She asked me about the new language arts assignment, and then we talk about some new Vampire Weekend shirts she found on eBay and about whether we're too old for trick-or-treating. By the time lunch is over and we're throwing out our trash, Abby has me smiling again. Chapter 11. Not Right. More weird stares follow me the rest of the day, which makes me bonkers. Why the acceptance one day and now all the staring? It doesn't make any sense. By the time my dad picks me up for treatment, I'm actually looking forward to it. Anything is better than the stares. Frank cues up the mix from where I left the day before. He and Callie strap me down, and I'm off. Despite the risk of zapping my eyeball, or the knowledge that I'm getting nuked like a microwave corn dog, I'm able to relax and get into the songs. The second song, a fast one about some guy screaming about needing the cure for what ails me, fits my mood perfectly. The next one is kind of slow and sappy, which surprises me coming from Frank, but even that one takes me on a ride. Gets me out of my funk and brain frenzy for a bit. Before I leave, Frank hands me the mixtape. For extracurricular listening, if you want. My dad brings my Deadpool costume in a plastic bag, and we head to Abby's house. It feels weird walking up to Abby's place. For the last few years, we've always started our night at Isaac's and ended at Abby's. Things change, I guess. Abby meets me at the front door, and I can tell something isn't right. She looks strung out. Even weirder, she isn't in a costume. As we pass the kitchen, her parents are huddled over the counter having what looks like a serious conversation. Her mom gives me a quick wave, then turns back to Mr. Peterson. I feel butterflies coming to life in my stomach. In Abby's room, she tells me to sit down. She's chewing her hair, which might not be a good sign. I drop my backpack and my bag along with my costume and sit down carefully at her desk. I'm moving slowly. Abby comes over and sits on the corner of her bed near my chair, runs a hand through her hair. Okay, Ross. She looks up at the ceiling. She grimaces. I think I figured out why everybody was staring. I notice her phone in her hand. She's holding it so tight, her knuckles are white. So, Stacy Tyler just sent me these things. They're pictures that somebody made. I don't know who made them, and neither does Stacy. She really doesn't. I believe her. Okay. My ears are ringing, but I try to remain calm. She sighs. I guess these were flying around all day on Instagram, by text. Nobody sent them to me because, we're friends and all. I can't take this. What are you talking about? She tips her head back. Apparently, these went around to a bunch of people last night, and today to a lot of people. They're like memes. I swallowed. I've been memed? She laughs, but not a ha-ha laugh, more the one puff sad laugh. Yeah, there were 3 of them. She's not sure what to say, and that isn't a situation Abby finds herself in often. They aren't funny, Ross. They're bad. I'm trying to brace for impact, like a new diagnosis is coming. I hold out my hand, and she gives me her phone. The first image in her text feed is my 6th grade yearbook photo. Someone has drawn a really rough version of a cowboy hat on my head. Relief washes over me. It's not that bad. Kind of mean-spirited, but I was expecting way worse. I scroll to the next image. Someone has spent some time on this one. Really put in the effort. It's a drawing of my head on a super skinny old guy in a hospital gown. He looks awful, holding onto an IV stand. But the third is the winner. The icing on the cake. The pièce de résistance, as they say. It's the simplest of the 3. Somebody's taken an existing cartoon and changed the words. Or really just one word. It's a black and white panel cartoon of death in an airport. It must have been taken from a magazine. The New Yorker, maybe. My parents get that magazine, and it looks like it's in that style. In it, Death, his face hidden in a hood and holding his big axe thing, is standing in front of a limo. He's holding a sign, looking for his next customer. I sit staring at it for a bit, and I can feel my throat and chest tightening. My face is getting hot. So, death is waiting for me? Is that what they're implying? That I'm dying? Is that the joke? Ross, look, it's... Abby starts. I interrupt. How is this at all funny? Is it supposed to be funny? Abby takes the phone from me. I don't know. Stacy doesn't even know who did them. They're just going around. I basically beat her over the head to get her to show me. I stand up because I'm not sure what else to do. Who would... I feel heat rolling through my body, starting from my toes. Like an enemy, or... My hands are shaking. Ross, Abby says, we'll figure out who did these, and my parents said we should go to the principal first thing tomorrow. This is... No! My cheeks are on fire. We're not doing anything. Do you hear me? I just want them to go away, especially the last one. We're not giving them any more attention. My voice dies out. Okay. Abby, trying to calm me down. But... I shake my head. I stick out my hand, little finger out. Not a word. Pinky swear. The pinky swear has been our most solemn vow since forever. We've never broken one yet. Abby hooks her pinky around mine. Fine. Pinky swear. She nods, but doesn't look happy about it. Ross, it was probably just a couple of people joking around and it got out of control, you know? One person trying to top the other, or... I don't know. And it went too far. Suddenly, I can't breathe. I start spinning around looking for my stupid hat before I realize it's on my stupid head. I grab my backpack by one strap. Tears are coming, and I don't really want to be there when they arrive. I pull open the bedroom door and hurry down the hallway. Ross! Abby follows me. Come on, Ross! Don't leave! Just stop! I run down the stairs and pass Abby's mom in a blur. Then I'm outside, across the lawn, across the street, at the corner. I see a few kids in costumes with their parents and do my best to ignore them. I stand on the corner, sucking in big gulps of the cool evening air. My heart is pounding like it wants to burst out of my chest. I mean, I knew other students had been looking, staring. I'd seen kids pointing. But I had always assumed they were pulling for me on some level, for me to get better, to beat this thing. I mean, is this all just some big joke to everyone at school? I hear Abby calling my name, coming up behind me. I spin on her. Don't! I hold my hand up like a traffic cop. I'm not mad at you. Obviously, I mimic explosions coming out of my ears. She nods, looks down at the ground. I know. I get it. I'm mad too. And sad. 2 kids run by, laughing with big pumpkin-shaped buckets. I'm not sure whether to run, lie down, or spin around in circles. I don't know how to... Who would make those? Abby looks up at me and shakes her head. Her eyes are watery, about to spill over. I don't know, Ross. I really don't. Does someone have to hate me? Do people hate me? I take a deep, shuddering breath. I'm not dying! Am I? Is there something I don't... Is death waiting for me? Obviously, I know dying from this is a possibility. Cancer does that. But I've gotten myself fairly convinced that I'm beating this thing. I've even overheard my dad and Linda discussing scary survival rates one time, but it seemed like they were... Was I in denial? Do people in denial know they're in denial? I suddenly feel like walls are closing in on me, even though I'm outside. Abby steps closer, like she's approaching a wild animal. Then she moves to hug me, but I can't right now. I step back, give her an arm squeeze, and walk away. I don't look back, and Abby doesn't follow. It's a long walk to my house, but I'm okay with that. It's dark. There are a lot of people out. Parents, kids, various ghouls, and I'm glad my face is hidden in shadows. I go back and forth between crying and fuming a few times, sometimes both at the same time. By the time I get home, I'm sniffling, but I've mostly pulled myself together. I go straight into the garage and grab my dad's stained old CD player from the workbench. I open up the top and take out Journey's Greatest Hits, whatever that is, and leave it on his work towels. My dad and Linda look up as I stomp through the kitchen with the CD player, the power cord rattling on the across the floor behind me. I know Dad wants to ask why I'm home early, but the look on my face stops him. Or maybe Abby's mom called them. In my room, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, big dumb hat and all, and I really want to scream. I'm not sure who to be mad at. I'm just mad. At the world, at myself for having stupid cancer. I throw my hat at the wall and toss my backpack on the bed. I dig out Frank's CDs and my earbuds. It's a minor miracle, but once I untangle them, they fit into the boombox Ancient Jack. 20 seconds later, I'm on the bed, pillow over my head, and awash in ripe sponge. I listen to that first song 4 times, my muscles slowly relaxing before I move on to the second. Then the third. 14 songs about horny vampires and tragic love stories. Life on the road, teenage rebels, angry loners, and songs with screamed lyrics I mostly don't understand. Some of those are my favorites. The guitars seem to say what I'm feeling the best. The guitars. Stuttering rhythm lines, wailing solos, even the finger-picked ballads strike a nerve. Not to sound weird, but it's like a whole new language. One I didn't know I needed until now. By the time I fall asleep, I've listened to the entire mix at least 3 times.